Hey everybody, this is a Calumet Painting and Restoration podcast. We are recording it in the winter of going into 2025-26, which is a big time for Calumet Painting and Restoration. Rick Suarez, he pays for this time. You know, you turned me down. Why, I don't know, because he's over here messing with you. You turned me down. I can't hear anything now. There you go, right there. Perfect. Thank you. I'm good. And this is paid for by Calumet Painting and Restoration. They're right around the corner here on Columbia Avenue in Hammond. We are right now on the campus of Purdue Northwest in Hammond, but just for a couple more weeks, and then we're moving down the street. Oh. And, yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Can you turn him up a little bit?
I'm good. I'm good.
I don't mean your ears, your voice.
Okay.
Hey, you didn't know we're moving?
No.
So the radio portion, which I thought was just going to be radio, and evidently we're on TV again now.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to watch Calumet Painting and Restoration's podcast, all you got to do is go to WJOB 1230. It's being recorded live right now, actually. And, we're moving down, and I've always kind of wanted to move back for the radio and have the sports stay.
Yeah.
But they changed. This is a cybersecurity center. It's really no longer for entrepreneurs and tech stuff.
Oh.
It's just all cyber. And so we're moving back there. I don't know where the sports network is ultimately going to.
When you say back there, what's
right? It's right there, and the tower is 7 blocks away. You can turn around. It's actually sometimes if it's at nighttime, you can see, like if we're early in the morning and it's still dark, you can see the blinking of the tower behind where you're sitting right now. You can't see it right now, but we've always kind of wanted to do that, and part of it is like, you know, we're doing this show right now, and we have to, I had to kick Verley out real quick and then bring you in real quick.
Yeah.
So when we build this, and I don't even know if Adriana knows this, but Matt Kaufman, who's down there, right now actually, we're going to have an old-time studio where I want to be, and it has old-time sound protection, and we'd have a little bit better sound on the radio and that. And it's just an old-time feel because the studio's like 65 years old. But we're building a separate one where, like, if you're doing a show, you would go set up out there, and then we would just throw it to that studio, so we don't have to switch all the equipment out. Does that make sense to you? Mm-hmm. And it's like any project.
Yeah.
We have stages. And, you know, we're trying to do it like you do when you go into a place. All right, this is what we're going to do first.
Yeah. This
is what we're going to do second.
Yeah.
But a guy named Matt Kaufman, who is a student at Purdue Northwest, has found an amazing, he's just really into it and really adept at breaking things down and then kind of like building things up. Yeah. And I told him, I go, you got a future in this, and almost like creating internet studios in like a warehouse or something like that. And I'm sure there's a niche for that, like everything else.
Like anything else, right? Yeah. Yeah, so actually if you're going that way, you're going to be closer to Calumet Painting and Restoration because we're at 6733 Columbia. Yeah, so I can get to your place a little bit quicker. Last minute.
It will be, and then you would just go out and sit and wait for me to come out of the other studio and we would do it. Does that make sense to you? Do you like that plan or not? That's
as long as we have good lighting and all the equipment's in there. That's all that we can ask for.
We are buying another set of these robotic cameras.
Oh, okay, then as long as we have enough space.
When we first bought them, they were 5 times more expensive. We're going to buy a used set of HD robotic cameras. HD's fine for us, but everybody wants 4K right now. But right now we're talking about Calumet Painting and Restoration as the topic du jour. Rick Suarez has been doing it how long now?
About 35 years. I got to think about that. Yes, 35 years. Yeah.
So tell people what you do.
Well, we do a lot of different things now, but originally we started as I wouldn't say just house painters, but house painters. Actually, we started our business painting old aluminum siding on a lot of houses in North Hammond, and then it kind of evolved from there. And then now we We have a designer on staff. We can do full kitchen remodels, full bathroom remodels. We do all the interior and exterior painting, plaster work. We can do all the carpentry on the outside of a home, prepare the home for any repainting work that may be coming up. We do a lot of condominium work for condo associations. So if anybody's out there that owns a condo, our designer is real good at. She's actually an expert at lighting, a different kind of lighting and flooring, and so a lot of times common areas, common spaces in those areas, or if you have an office building that needs a spruce up, give us a call, 219-844-7501.
So there it is. There's the summary. But right now, if you're listening to this podcast at a different time, this is the middle of winter. It is going to be below zero this weekend. So you're not out painting houses right now, correct?
No, we're
But
doing,
you have full crews that you want to keep busy. How do you keep them busy over the summer? Over the winter.
Yeah, the winter. We do a lot of inside work. We try to push more of our bathrooms. We give discounts for any interior repainting work. I know it's kind of a dicey time, I guess would be the word, with the holidays and all that, to try to get in and get somebody's house done on the inside. So it's a little bit slower for the residential work, but one-day baths and those bath remodels and stuff is really what we kind of concentrate on. We can also repaint kitchens and stuff. So if you got people coming in, we can probably still get you in before the holidays. My scheduler is going to kill me when I get back to the office, but we'll figure it out.
Really, you could actually get in, and somebody's sitting there right now, and it says, you know what, I'm having 20 people over, and this kitchen needs to be painted, and he'll get in there and do it.
Yeah.
So let's talk specifically about the bathrooms and the one-day baths.
Sure.
Obviously, we have basically a guest bathroom, and it was built in 1978 when they built the house, and the wife wants to rip it out and put a whole new thing, and then eventually we'll probably live on the lower level. So she wants to get a really nice bathroom down there, and that's where she does her makeup and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So what's the process?
Well, the process is really we go in and we call it a needs assessment. We go in and figure out what you really want and what you need to have done, and then from there, Gene, my designer, typically will sit there and talk, figure out what kind of colors want to go in there, and then that kind of decides what type of we put acrylic walls in, so they come in a lot of different flavors, I guess you could say, and so we have to determine that. And so we get kind of a feel of all the fixtures that are going to go in there. If it's just going to be a remodel of the wet area, which is the shower area, if they're going to, most people take the tubs out nowadays, so it's usually removal of the tub and then, what size fits in there. So we do all the, mechanical things there that got to happen. But then in the end, basically, usually it's I'll be honest with you, it's usually the housewife that picks the colors. So we just figure out what they want, and then we just take it from there. We kind of piece it, put it together, and then present it to the homeowner, and then, we come into some kind of agreement, and then we'll usually, they can be done in one day, but if you're taking out a bathtub and stuff, usually we always tell people allow these 2 days for it to happen.
We're talking to Rick Suarez. Got any questions about remodeling, restoration, painting, that kind of stuff? I do have a question. I mean, obviously, I've been putting it off, but the wife is like, hey, man, this dude. I want a new bathroom. That's what I want for Christmas. And I'm like, let me see what I could work out. But you're right. You get right to the color.
Yeah.
Okay. And the wife, I think maybe 20 years ago or 30 years ago, we had a house in Griffith, and the colors of we redid a couple bathrooms then, and I remember that the colors were pretty stark, and it was like a hunter green in one of them, which I hated, but that was kind of the colors at the time.
Yeah.
What are the colors that are hot now in bathroom design?
That's a good one.
I got it right here. I got AI, so I know the answer. I don't usually ask questions where I don't know the answer. So if you want me to answer it, I will.
Yeah, go ahead and answer
it. Yeah, but I already knew this because my wife told me it. The warm neutrals and earth tones, beige and taupe, these soft warm neutrals are taking over from cooler grays.
Yeah.
as the primary color right now,
Yep.
providing a sophisticated backdrop that pairs with natural wood and stone materials. So it's kind of moved towards, I mean, the grays are soft, can be soft also,
absolutely.
but they've moved away from that, and it's all kind of like terracotta, maybe some soft, real light, soft browns, that kind of stuff, warm whites, a little bit of warm whites and grays with the blue, the light blue tint has moved to the kind of desert colors right now. Are you seeing that?
We are, because we do, we start with the, naturally that's where we go when we start talking about what they're looking at, what the dominant color is going to be in there, naturally the walls and then the floor too. So you got to kind of figure that, and then you go into the bathtub. If you're doing a whole remodel, if you're just doing the wet area, then we kind of see what's already there. And then that's why I let the designer go with the homeowner and try to figure out what's going to work best and what we have to offer and what goes with what they have there. So it's kind of dependent. It's like, I guess it's like a bottle of wine or something. People pair wine with different kind of foods, but really ultimately it's what you like. I mean, someone can't tell you that goes with that if you don't really like that type of wine. So and it's basically the same thing with colors. Colors is a personal thing. So there is no wrong way to go with the color if you're the one that's living there, So we don't try too hard to influence people one way or the other. Ultimately, if we do convince them to go a way that they're not, a certain way that they're not 100% sold on it, you end up sometimes with unhappy customers, when you're better off just like letting them take the color that they want and just run with it. Ultimately in the end, they're going to be happier,
Hey, by the way, we're live here on December 9th, and if you do have any questions about colors or design or anything, it's 219-845-1100. So, Rick, certainly the olive colors that were kind of hot maybe 7 to 10 years ago, they're still around, but they're not as prevalent as the the terracottas and the beige and the taupes. And then the more bold accents like matte black and charcoal, blush pink, yellow, those are still, I mean, you can still do those, but certainly they'll probably come back again, but they're not the en vogue color now.
Yes. Well, that's one of the things I like about my business is that sometimes we'll go and get into a bathroom. Let's say we were doing a home in Whiting last year, I believe it was, and the homeowner wanted us to get the most gaudiest wallpaper that we could find, like something out of a casino or something. So we found some really crazy stuff, and then we hung it up there, and it was beautiful. I mean, it was one of his guest bathrooms, so he wanted people to walk in there and get kind of stunned by it, and it did. It was very stunning. So that's kind of why I don't like picking colors, because a lot of times I can't see it, what it's going to look like. You got to have a really, really good mind and good imagination to get to the right colors. Now you're talking about colors in bathrooms. Kitchens also is another space that has its trends that go certain ways.
Well, what are those trends?
Well, we were doing a lot of grays, you said. Grays, we were talking about the darker grays, and, a lot of the you look at the magazines, a lot of those magazines that show the different kitchens now, they'll show like a darker base cabinet, like a darker gray, and then they put a lighter gray up on top, or a white cabinet on top. So they're doing like two-tone kind of
What about
thing.
the backsplash?
The backsplash and the counter also play into that, whether it's a stone or a solid surface. So there's a lot to it. I mean, there's a lot of thinking and planning, and then you're always better off like, getting big squares of colors as opposed to those little things. It's going to be an expensive thing to remodel your kitchen, so you want to make sure that the colors that you got, you're going to be happy with in the end, because it gets really expensive if you start trying to change colors in the middle of the project. So.
Speaking of kitchens, which you're doing now, I'm sure you'll do a kitchen now. Adriana at the beginning of this mentioned lighting. She's worried that we're building the second studio and that the lighting isn't going to be precise. Yeah. But I think that we're going to have the same problem, Adriana, that we have here, and that we're putting the second studio in an area that has a ton of open windows, and the sunlight will come in and go. So when we're on the air here, we're not going to have that problem today.
Yeah,
we
right.
have the sun
right.
that is lighting us up.
Right.
But if all of a sudden big clouds came over, that
Right.
it would change and we would look washed out.
Right.
And that happens a lot, and
Yeah.
it's just something that we
Yeah.
deal with.
Yeah.
That and sound. But so one of the things when we redid our kitchen, I think it was like 12 years ago, the designer came in and said, well, what kind of light do you want? I'm like, I never thought of light in my life. It was just like my wife's choosing the colors of the kitchen. And my wife's like, no, we want can lights all the way across the ceiling. And I go, do you know how much more, that's going to cost more money? So they went up and they ripped up the ceiling, and they put in these can lights, and they said, hey, you need to put the warm light bulbs in, not daylight. You need to put the soft, warm ones in there.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, man, when I come down out of the stairs, out of the, coming down in the morning at 4:30 in the morning, and there's this, I turn the light on, and there's this kind of dimmer on it.
Yeah, dimmer.
And it's a warm golden light of like, I think there's 15 can lights in the kitchen.
Yeah.
It really makes a difference from where it was.
yeah.
Where it's just like, I think it was just like one major light up there behind, and it was just white light in there. And so when you talk about the kitchen and all the colors and how it goes together, I mean, that can the lighting can be a make or breaker on that.
Well, you got to remember the kitchen's a workspace. I don't know if you cook or not, but I live by myself, but I still cook a lot. And, as I get older, you don't see quite as good anymore. So you need lighting directly where you're working on your workspace. Like if you got the light behind you and you work at your counters here in front of you, you end up blocking your own light. And so you just got to figure out where and how your kitchen flows with the way you work in your kitchen. And that's kind of, for me, the way I always envision it, is start with the lighting. And then, like your center light and that kind of stuff, if you have a dining room attached to it, that it all gets a little different kind of thought process to it. I kind of let that lighting go with my designer, because she's really good at lighting. That's kind of her specialty. But it makes just changing the light in a room is unbelievable what it could do.
I can, even like right now in the lighting, we have to have white lights on us here, but we get a slight golden hue because the sun's right here, and all of the shows are in the morning, most of them now. We're spilling into the afternoon. I'm doing one today. Actually, where we're sitting, that sun won't be there. It'll be on the other side of the building. So I'll come in here, and I think the guy will be on Zoom. But I'll have to turn these other lights on up there that are a softer hue because we don't have the sunlight. But I'm with you, and I hate to say it. I start with my next door neighbor was a lighting contractor. And he started to get me.
You should have had the best stuff in your house.
No, well, he was a commercial lighting, industrial. If anybody remembers or knows Ron Millies, he's still around. He was always, he did the lighting at like Centennial Park, and he's done some big and on that War Memorial over there. And if you go by it, the lighting has really been thought out. And he's like, man, people never think about it, and they just put a slap a light in there. He goes, you really got to think about it, especially on the outdoors. Now I put lighting, those up lights on your house. I put those on the front. I had originally, I think, had like 6 or 8 across. I had 8 across the front. And then I realized, that doesn't work. Actually, less is more. So I went with, I think, 3 main lights, maybe four main lights across kind of a long house in the front. And, man, does that really change things. When you're pulling up and there's snow falling down, like, man, that really has a lot. You know what? I will give people one hint on that. That you can use the if you're putting in your outdoor lights, and I know this isn't in your guys' purview, but you can buy the timer that you put on your phone and you do all that. That's okay, but they have those old time timers where you just put it onto the thing you plug in
Yeah.
Into the electrical outlet,
Yeah.
and then you just push it,
Yeah.
and it'll just do, and those work a lot better, and then they don't get affected
Is it
by
mechanical? Just turns
yeah, it's just
it?
a mechanical turn,
Yeah.
and I use those, and you got to go adjust it.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, my lights aren't coming on till like 6:30, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I got to
Yeah.
get out there and change that.
Yeah.
But you have to change it maybe
Yeah.
twice a year.
Yeah.
But use that mechanical one and
Yeah.
not that internet-based one. I had so much trouble with that.
Yeah.
We're talking to Rick Suarez. You can right now get a pretty good deal on both bathrooms
Yep.
and kitchens. So the idea is to keep your guys working, right?
Yeah, we're offering 15. We have a sweet deal going on. We call it up until the end of the year. We're giving 15% discounts for any. You could do the work anytime, really, all the way until the end of March, anytime this winter. So you just get us out there. We can kind of plan it out, figure out the costs and all that stuff. Work with you on that, and then. We can get in there maybe right after the holidays or before, whatever. Some people don't necessarily celebrate the holidays, I guess, but it starts with the budget, right? You got to figure out how much it's going to cost you. The estimates are free. Give you some good ideas how to proceed, and then get us out there, save yourself some money. We have another discount for the baths. If you do a bathroom right now, we'll give you $1,200 discount on it, and that is also good till if you can get us out there before the end of this year.
So there it is, Calumet Painting and Restoration. And as I mentioned, the wife has been bugging me. This is the second winter, and I think we're going to go for our own bathroom. And it's really kind of a 2-day process, even though it says 1 day.
Yeah.
You can get it done in 1 day if you get there early,
Right.
and if you want. So just so people have an idea, I mean, I'm not going to hold you to it. I mean, what are what are the price ranges? I'm sure I know at the upper end. I know a buddy who just spent. I don't even want to tell you how much you spent on a bathroom.
Well, you can. I mean, you can if you start doing tile and if you're doing a whole remodel. I mean, 30,000 upwards of that. If you're like most, just 1 day baths, taking the wet area out. Maybe repainting it. A lot of it's going to depend if you get a door, a shower door or not. A lot of people seem to be going more with just curtain rods, double curtain rod. And I'm not. I think it's because it is a little bit. It requires a little bit more maintenance if you have a door to keep it clean and all that stuff. And I think maybe that might have something to play with it. But most of the time, you're looking at between. I would say just historically $13,000 to $17,000 typically is what one of those costs. So it gives you an idea.
There it is, Calumet Painting and Restoration. What's the phone number again?
219-844-7501. Just call the office, and then we'll send we have about 3 salespeople working for us now, and one of them's a designer. So it depends what your need is. They'll figure it out and talk to you, and then we'll set something up to get out there. And most of the time, we can turn the estimate back over within about 2 days, I would say. Depending on how complicated your project is. So
he's Rick Suarez, and you're listening to the WJOB Podcast Network. Like the channel, it'll be on Apple, Spotify. This is recorded live on the radio on Tuesday, December 9th of 2025. Get out. Now's the time to do your project. You get a good price from Rick Suarez. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Until next time, see you later.